Right. Okay. Apologies for that. And hello, everyone, and welcome. We're just going to take a few minutes to get ourselves sorted. And Ruud is coming on board. We're here. I'm just going to get myself centered on the screen. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Right. Brilliant. Okay. We'll wait for people to arrive, and we'll start the show proper in a couple of minutes. It's good to have an audience. We had 41 people subscribed to the show, so we can say hello to everybody. So if I start off, hello Skip, Gary, Hans, Cameron, Asla, and Laurie. It's good to see you here. We're on Fire Talk, which is a relatively new platform, came out of beta in May. And if you remember do you remember Pal Talk at all, Ruud?
No.
All right. Okay. Pal Talk was around in the late 90s and 2000s.
All right.
And this is Pal Talk Reborn.
Okay.
Fire Talk is part of the AVM group.
Generation thing.
it could be.
Yeah. And 90s.
Yeah. That could well be true. But we're using this as an alternative for Blab because this platform is stable, and as you can see, the screen quality is better as well. And greetings, Gary, Skip, Nicolette, and Hans. I'm looking forward to chatting with Nicolette tomorrow. And we'll just hang on a minute. Sally, welcome.
Sound?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Sage, welcome. So everybody's just arriving.
Hi everyone. Hope you are doing all well. Hope we can learn from each other here. And I hope that you have a lot of questions that I can answer. So I'm ready for it.
Right. Okay. Well, if you're ready, I'm ready. Right. Okay. For everyone who's new to the system, we're going to talk, Ruud and I are going to talk for about 20 minutes. And then we'll take questions from you. If you've got a question, just type it in the text box on the right-hand side, and we'll spot it and take it as it comes along. We're hoping that we go for about 20 minutes. Then, if you want to come on there and chat to the two of us, then you're more than welcome to do so. All you need to have is your camera and microphone. And as we know all of you, you're more than welcome to come and chat. We can have 4 people on screen at the same time. Right. So, it's time to start, and let's get underway. Good afternoon and welcome to this first Empire.Kred live event, which is designed to help you meet the people who actually play the system day to day and to learn from those who play it well. So welcome, Ruud. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you all. And what I said earlier, I hope that we can learn from each other. That's why I said I want to do this live show. And I hope you have a lot of questions, so I'm ready for it.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Right. I suppose the first question, because not everybody who's here is actually, or who watched the replay indeed, is on Empire.Kred. What is Empire.Kred to you? What does it stand for?
I think you have to go back to when I started with the Empire Avenue, when it was called that name. First, when I made contact with Empire Avenue, it was for me a new platform, a new social media platform, but with a very interesting game feature in it. So it started for me first more like a game, but later on, when Empire Avenue and Empire.Kred evolved, I also noticed the use of missions. That you can target your group of people you want to target. So it became more than that. So first it was a game. Now it's more a marketing tool for me.
All right, and yeah, that's very interesting because people don't know that Empire.Kred can be used for marketing. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about what missions are?
Yes, first of all, it's all about. I use social media for the most purpose is new business to generate new business, and to do that you have to create an environment of trust, because you don't sell products but you sell yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
So I use my social media platforms on different ways to to show yourself from a personal side, from a business side, and every platform has its own use. And to generate traffic to your different platforms, I use the missions in Greed. Also to build a larger audience. So you will notice when I use Greed that most of my missions are every day the same. So I try to get some that people can recognize me by my missions. But the purpose is that they visit me on Facebook, that they can see me as a person. Who am I? To give them more trust on who I am. I try to get some traffic to LinkedIn to see what I do for business. So, and that way you create a larger network. So I use it for enlarging my network, but also branding.
Right.
And therefore I use the missions.
Right. Okay. Now, how do you use the missions to target people? Because that's improved recently, hasn't it?
Yes, with the Empire.Kred, when we transformed from Empire Avenue to Empire.Kred, the possibilities of the missions became much greater. So you could target certain people who you want to do this mission, and that's a great way to use it. To be honest, I never used that because I want always my missions open for everybody. Yeah. But if you want, you can create your own target group. But if you see my missions, it's always open. I never ask to do something. I just give. And that's the most important thing. If you give, then it comes back to you. And I never say to people, hey, you did a mission, but you did nothing else. They just earned the eaves, but that's no problem. It's like marketing. If you invest in marketing, not all your investments will be returned. It's always a percentage of what will be used of it.
Indeed. I mean, it is very important to know who you're reacting with and to gain their confidence, isn't it? It's all about confidence and trust.
Yes, that's the most important thing. I've done in my past very different businesses. I was a recruiter, for example, and now I'm a business developer in another sector, no recruitment. But I always use the different platforms for my different jobs I had. So it's very, very useful. And it's fun. That's the most important. It's that's maybe because I started as a game, and I like the game.
Yes.
Game part of it.
Yeah, the gaming element is the thing that keeps people going back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's not just a question of investing. You're actually meeting new people all the time.
Yes, indeed. And this way with the Empire.Kred Live is also a meaning to meet people on another way. And yes. Well, and I think always what you have to try to get is to get in the head of the people. So if they have a problem which I can solve, that I think, hey, I have to go to Ruud. So you have to be continually being on the platform, on the different platforms, but also on Empire.Kred.
Yeah.
So you see me daily back in Empire.Kred.
Yeah, we talked about running missions. Do you actually take missions as well? Do you do other people's missions?
That's also a part of it. If you create missions, but don't do missions yourself, don't think that they will do your mission.
Right.
It's also a give and take. So I do a lot of missions.
Interesting.
What I noticed is what in the beginning, when I started with doing missions, I did all missions, all different kind of missions.
Okay.
But I noticed within myself that in the years you are going to get your own group of people. You know, they have missions that's interesting for me, and so it evolved in the years.
Yes. Now, which type of missions do you prefer to do? Do you do gift missions or invest missions or visit a web page?
That's from the game part of it, I do a lot of investment missions
Mhm.
and gift missions. From the business part of it, I do a lot of other missions from people I know they have interesting content, which I can share or can like. And so, but in the in the years, you know the people who has great content.
Indeed, yeah, yeah. It's reputation again, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you
But
take,
it's important that you also do missions.
yeah. So it's a give and take. You can't expect to take all the time.
No, no,
Right.
exactly.
Okay. So you build the reputation up. Now, how often do you run missions? Do you run them daily or?
Wow. If I'm looking at the amount of time I spent with doing Empire.Kred,
Yeah.
I think 2-3 hours a day.
Right. Okay. Well, I wondered how your Empire.Kred score was 100. Now I know. But for you, it's not just you say it's a game, but it's also part of your marketing, isn't it?
Yes, it's like affiliate marketing. You can promote your product by paying others, by paying with a product or with money. But in this way, you can do the same with the missions. It's a kind of affiliate marketing. So you pay them in EVEs, but it's the same thing, I think.
Yeah. Skip's just saying that he does an hour a day on an Empire.Kred, and I think a lot of people do. The more time you invest in it, the better the return, isn't it?
Yes.
You can't pop in once a week and hope to win, can you?
Yeah, it's like an all other social media platforms. If you are not there every day, people will not follow you. You have to be there every day. And as I said earlier, Empire.Kred is just a social media platform. Alone, only thing is it has other means and other things you can use.
Well, I can't think of any game I mean, you've been there, what, 4 or 5 years?
5 years, yes.
5 years. I've been there 5 years as well, and I can't think of any other game that I've been playing for 5 years and still
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yes, indeed. And you still meet new people. And that's also what I try to do, is to make new people enthusiastic about the Empire.Kred by doing missions for them, like the newbie missions I always do to give them help. What I also do is doing missions of every day for people who invested in me. I return them a mission. I just random select one every day and give them a 1 million EVES mission, investment mission. So you give them something back.
Right. Can you expand a little bit on the BEE missions?
B, that has to be, you have to be yourself. And B has to do with the company, my own company I had 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I had a recruitment company, BIT Solutions, and in that period, 2-3 years that I had that company, I always used the missions with B,
Okay. Yeah.
referring to my own company, but also by referring be yourself.
Yes.
And that's something I find very important. If you're doing social media, the first thing you have to do is be yourself. Maybe it's a little important to say that when I started with the Empire Avenue or Empire.Kred now, I was very anxious to let people know that I use it, because they think that you paid for your likes or your that I share something. But now that's gone. But it was more. I was not used to it, and now I know that people do my missions because they like what they like,
Yeah.
and they share what they share, and not because they share because of sharing.
That's
So
yeah.
in the beginning, it was no, not ashamed. It's not the right word, but you was a little excited. When I say
Expectation.
that? Yes, yes. So I was very. I didn't promote it. Let us say that. But now I promote it more and more. Actually, on the social media platforms.
Yeah.
But you will notice, I got for you a message, for example, in Facebook,
Okay.
with an item to place on my Facebook timeline about this event,
Yes.
and I didn't accept it. But that has to do with the fact that Facebook for me is a personal brand. Has to do with everything I do in my personal life. And Empire.Kred and other content about social media is not part of that.
No.
I always make a distinct, how do you say that? For Facebook is for me personal. It's my diary, for example.
Okay.
Everything I do in my life and I find worth sharing, I do on Facebook. On Google Plus, I try to mix it. There you see personal content and you see business content. LinkedIn is pure business.
Yes.
And Twitter is pure business.
Okay.
So that sometimes I get messages from Facebook. I never accept that because it's my
it's your space. I mean, there's no problem with that. But I mean, today, would you say this is business or pleasure or a mixture of both?
Greed, the Empire.Kred, you mean?
No, this chat that we're having.
This chat is first a good way to let people I know from the Empire.Kred to show who I am in life, maybe digital life.
Yes.
And it's also a way to share experience.
Indeed. Yeah. Now I want to come back to a very important point about missions, because we've got this situation where you ask people to visit a tweet or to visit a page, and that's totally white hat, isn't it? There's no expectation on your behalf when you ask somebody to do something.
Well, what I said earlier, it's always open. I don't use the possibilities in the mission to define your group of people who can do the mission. Yeah. It's always open, and I don't mail people that they have done my mission but didn't like a Facebook page or whatever else. I don't have expectations. I just give and see what people do. Right. And sometimes they take the eaves and run away. That's no problem. That's also in marketing.
Yes.
If you do a marketing action, then 20% will get a reaction. The rest is lost.
But indeed, and you can't expect a return, but you can build your mission in such a way that you get people interested. So how important is the title of a mission?
It's very important, of course, because that creates an expectation, but also a recognition, and people recognize it. So every day they see the same mission. Sometimes I do another mission because for an event or for this event, for example. But mostly my missions are the same. And the title is very important because that's the first thing they see.
Yes.
And that gives a trigger to open the mission or not.
Indeed.
It's very important that your content in the mission is very short. And I never ask it, but I tell what will happen when you do the mission. So I always tell where the link is going to, and I always tell what the return will be, but not what they have to do.
Okay. Do you, what in the bottom? Do you just put please visit the tweet, or please visit the webpage, or enjoy the video, or?
I never do. I just put a link, and I will see what happens.
Right. Okay.
You can't do that. Then you have to use the possibilities in a mission to define your targeting group.
Yeah. Okay.
But I never use that.
Right.
To be open and to be wide open means that you can meet more people.
Yes.
Sometimes a person have no direct link in business way before, for example, but it can trigger for myself a personal thing.
Yes.
And that can create a bond. I've met a lot of people which I met in real time, first on social media, and then in real time, and it was great. You shared a lot of things.
Yeah, you get to know people online, meet them in real life, and that is amazing, isn't it? Because it's like you're talking, you know each other, you know of each other, you know what each other does. I mean, we were looking last year to
little things in the content that the person has, or the way they write, that triggers you something in you, and that way I learned a lot of things. I always learn from other people, and that can be by listening on the social media platforms or in real time, just listening.
Indeed, indeed. We should listen to what people are saying and do their missions as well as creating our own. Back to creating our missions. How important is the graphic? I mean, we've had the change from Empire Avenue to Empire.Kred. You can now put your own graphics in rather than just your profile photo.
Yes, it's the same as the title of a mission. A graphic gives a trigger to a person to open the mission.
Yeah.
So if you have a funny or other graphics, then use that. If you always every day see my face, then people are clicking away.
Well, some will click on and some will click away. I take your point though, that if you mix it up, then you're keeping it interesting, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes. I think the graphic is more a thing to open the mission than the title. I noticed. If I look to how many times a mission has done, then mostly the graphic was good.
Right. Just going to take a break and just scan the right-hand side of the screen, see if we have any comments from people. We're going to run for about another 5 minutes, and then we'll be open to people joining us on air and asking questions and putting your own suggestions. This is an interactive situation with now up to 4 people on the screen at a time. Okay, now back to missions. My next question is, how much of a reward do you give people?
How much?
Do you give the maximum? And did you give the maximum 100,000 or?
I give the max. And the nice thing about the new things in the missions is that you, for example, can reverse it, the amount you can earn. So if you have a low number of, what do you call that? If you have, I have 100, for example, but if you have 20 on the Empire,
if you're 20, it's reverse.
So that's I find that a nice thing, because then you give new people and not active people more rewards.
So reversing it is a way to.
I always use the max.
Yeah, indeed. So reversing it is a way to get new people involved and to reward them. Yeah, because people who've been on there 5 years have got enough eaves. So you want to give it new people. Talking of which, we've got public missions which we can put filters on, but we've got private missions as well, where you can basically say who can do the mission. You can select. Have you used those at all?
Yeah, I never used that. I can remember that we had that option in the Empire Avenue a few years ago, but that was cut because the people used it to exchange eaves with each other.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah,
and they got paid for it. And
indeed, there was.
Yeah, and that was cut. I find it an interesting option, but I never used it.
No, I've yet to use it. I'll speak to Nicolette tomorrow to see if she has used it. But it's there, and it does give you the ability to target named people. So if you've got a mission with 10 slots at 100,000 eaves each, you can name the 10 people, and the mission will just go to them, and they'll get notification of it. Right. Okay. Do you promote missions?
Promote missions in what kind of way?
Well, you've got the option when you're actually setting the mission up to promote it, so it appears at the top of the screen for a few hours.
That's the paid promotions. Yes.
Yes. Right. And do you find it useful?
Yes, I noticed that the last half year, promoted missions are more done than normal missions.
Okay.
Lately, what I'm doing is creating a promoted mission with a link. If you use it, the link goes to all my missions.
Yes.
And I hope that they see it more visible and do the other mission.
Yeah. So interlinking missions as well is important, because the thing is that missions will drop down the screen, won't they? I mean, there are hundreds of missions going a day.
I noticed that it is the last 2-3 months. It's very quickly that your mission is going down.
Yeah.
So the need to get it up is by doing then with a promoted mission.
Yeah. So promote a mission listing your missions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very simple technique, and one which hopefully everybody here will take on board, because you're extending the life of your mission. And if you don't want to pay for a promoted, well, you pay for the odd promoted mission, then it keeps all your missions alive. That's a very useful tip. Indeed. All right. Okay. Now, would you like to paste a link to your website in the right hand side, so that when people come back and watch the replay, they can see it, and follow through to your site, and it will appear on the video on YouTube as well.
Do I have to do something, or what?
Oh, right. Sorry, you've got. I'll explain. Your own website URL.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can paste that on the right hand side in the chat.
My website from what? From
Your business. Your business.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm going to open the seats up in a minute. If you want to come on air and ask Ruud questions, then just say yes, please, or put your hand up, or you should be able to see possibly a camera bottom right. I don't know. You press that as well.
The camera.
But if you
your camera right on the right side.
Okay. If you press the camera, and we've got somebody requesting to come on air, so let's just take a look.
It's yellow now. Is that right? Oh, Ruud Reijmerink wants to be a guest. Oh, I want to.
You're already here. I know you're on air. I can see you, and everybody can hear you. So that's a little feature, obviously.
Oh.
The thing about this technology is wonderful, but occasionally it does have the occasional glitch, as we all know with software. If anybody wants to come on air, just type yes, please, on the right hand side, and you can join us on air. If you've got a question, just want to type in text, then please do so. And just a shout out for tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we'll have Nicolette, and she'll be talking about missions in relation to if you've just begun on Empire.Kred. Okay. Yes. No takers. Nobody wants to join us on camera, which is understandable. I'm not going to call anybody out. So we'll just carry on for a few moments.
All right.
And
I see a question from Sally.
Okay. Yep.
About what if we can explain Eves for people who are not on Empire.Kred yet.
Okay. Yep.
I think important. Eves are a way to pay people for doing a mission, for example. So you give them something in return, and those Eves you can use in the game to buy shares in people or to create your own missions. That's Eves. It's kind of virtual money, for example.
Yeah, it's a virtual currency, isn't it? Which is used to oil the wheels of the game so that you can run your own missions and buy shares in the people. Because we've not touched on the stock trading side, have we? The buying and selling of shares, which is what got the two of us interested in the first place.
Yeah. I never sell shares.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If I invest in somebody, my shares stay there. Yeah, I never sell.
Right.
I did it in the early times, but I noticed they are selling my shares also. This is no good idea.
Yeah. No, you're going around in circles, aren't you? Right. Okay. I'm just looking for any more questions.
People who start with Empire.Kred that they need the money or the Eves to missions, and that they have the need to sell these shares to have the Eves for doing missions.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I had that situation also.
Yeah, indeed. When you get started, you've really got, as we said earlier, you've got to, if you want to run missions, you've got to do missions.
Yeah.
And do you think that the newcomers should do gift missions and investment missions?
If you see it like a game,
yeah,
it can be a part of creating a higher share price by doing investment missions. But I don't think it's very important to find in Empire.Kred, in your empire, people who can with whom you can work together.
Yes,
I did that in the early days. I did that with the Monkey Group. You always see an emission for my monkeys,
Yes.
Be a Monkey, because it was a group which helped each other. We had also a separate, private group in Empire Avenue there, then. And since then, I always do daily a monkey mission. And sometimes I add a new monkey to it because that person doing a lot of my missions or doing something good for other people. So it's also a group that is growing.
Yes. Yeah.
The basis,
I mean, that,
a few people I learned on the Empire, and we learned from each other.
that's it. There are an amazing number of people on Empire.Kred, 40,000 active users at the moment, and they have such amazing skill sets that you can work together, can't you?
Yes, indeed. So I learned a lot of those monkeys. So that's the reason I always do those monkey mission every day.
Right. We have a question from Sally, which I'll read out for you. What if someone can only afford to do one mission at first? What are the best kinds of missions to run? Where would you start if you knew and you wanted to run a mission?
What I can advise people when they can't do missions, just ask. I often get by mail in my inbox in Empire.Kred a question from newbies or other people. Hey, can you do a mission for me? And I give it, but just ask.
All right. Okay.
And then nothing happens.
All right. Okay. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That understood. Now, if having gained enough Eves, you can run a mission yourself as a new player.
Yeah.
What sort of mission would you run?
I think in the beginning, it's important to let yourself known in the Empire. So I think the best thing you can do, starting with gift missions and investment missions, so you can grow, and the people can learn about you. And if you have assembled, first you have to do also missions, and if you assembled a lot of Eves, you earn Eves every day by your shares. Then you can make it bigger in other missions. But I think in the beginning, people have to learn you. You have to get noticed.
Yeah. Yes.
My experience is that investment missions and gift missions are better done than other missions.
Right. Okay. Next question from Sally. What is an invest mission?
An investment mission is that you give people to buy shares in yourself or in other people. You can also create an investment mission for other empire builders.
Right. Okay. So that's to help other people invest in you because you're getting or to invest in people you've come in contact with.
I give them shares in my empire, so they can earn also Eves every day.
Yes.
I give it free, so they can build their own empire.
Excellent. And welcome to Barbara and to everybody who's
about the name Empire. Is that in the early times when I started with social media in 2006, I always saw it as a kind of building your village. So when I started on Twitter, and I always greet my Twitter followers as village people who lives in my village. And the Empire.Kred refers a lot of that. You are building your own community, your own empire, and that's very great.
Indeed. I mean, it is a community, and we've come to, I don't know about yourself, but I've come to know hundreds of people over the years.
Yeah.
Across the world.
Exactly. It's your own village or your own empire, and you have to nurse that.
Yeah, indeed. Now, just a quick question, quick request to everyone. If you're enjoying the show, could you see the tweet button or the Facebook button at the bottom of the screen? Can you press either of those and share this out? That would be good because there will be a replay which people can watch later. So if they haven't been able to get to the live show, they can watch the replay later. And this will also be on YouTube. And just a quick reminder, same time tomorrow, there will be a show with Nicolette when we'll be looking at how to get going on Empire.Kred. So that's good. And Sally's come up with another question. So I'll just read it out to you when I get rid of that. Right, what is good etiquette for most people who do missions? how do they show good behavior so they develop a friendly reputation? Right. How do you get from as being a new player a good reputation?
Understand the question, but a good etiquette for people who do missions is showing that you have done it, and also in the mission itself, say a thank word or say something that you have done it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interaction. You don't just hit and run. You've got to make the effort to get to know people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one
So don't just
point to get communication. That's something I think also in the Empire.Kred would be great when they develop that, because the direct communication is very like chatting is not possible. It's the
indeed.
way
Yeah.
direct communication. It's something that I hope in the future will be there.
Right. Okay. Now a question from America Home, and thank you for the question, and thank you for Sally for reminding us. Any ideas on how to spread the popularity of missions?
Use your own empire, and
Okay.
that means all your other platforms to get people triggered to use the empire. As I said in the beginning, I was very anxious in the beginning to let people know that I use the empire, and now I share it more and more.
Yeah, I think
I see it now as a normal social media platform, but it has other means.
Indeed. I mean, as we said earlier, and made a point about, which you made a point about, is that missions are definitely white hat. There's no requirement for anybody to do anything other than visit the tweet, visit the webpage, visit the YouTube channel. Yeah. It's only because of your own reputation that people actually take further action.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because you have contact they like. I mean, if someone go to my Facebook page for one time, and I think he thinks, oh, it's not interesting. He will do not the mission the next time, or maybe but doing nothing.
Indeed, and you said, but a high percentage though will actually do something, won't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you get it right, if you get the title right, if you get the graphic right, and the text.
I think a combination. So what I said, the graphic is very important because most people are visual, and the title is very important. It has to be short, no capital letters too much, and the content of the mission itself has to be short. I notice when I do some missions, I sometimes never read the mission itself.
Okay, yeah.
Especially investment and gift missions. The other missions I read, but if the text is too long, then I stop.
I understand. I think you've only got even with 2 hours a day on Empire, you've only got so much time to look at the missions, and you've got to decide from the title and from the person, haven't you? Yeah. That's what the key. The picture, title, and person is what drives things. Right. Another question. I'm so happy to see people. This is from Sally. So happy to see people using LinkedIn and Instagram in missions, even though we don't get credit for it anymore. In other words, we're not tracking it. Don't you think that all our social media connections are important?
Yes, I think. But it depends on why you use those platforms.
Right. Okay. I think that's key.
As for example, you don't get credit for Instagram because there is no link to Instagram anymore. Yep. But Instagram is for me an important platform. So I always create missions for my Instagram in Empire because I want the traffic to it.
Yes. Yes.
And not because I want a higher level on my Empire.Kred.
Right. Okay. So the motivation comes from outside Empire.Kred. Yeah. Really, it's your goals that count.
Indeed, that's why you're using it, and that makes what you create about missions and other things.
Yeah. So you can have successful missions for any of the social networks that you're involved in, because basically when we run a mission, we can send people anywhere, can't we?
Yeah.
It can be a web page, it can be LinkedIn, it can be Facebook, it can be Twitter.
Indeed, it doesn't matter what. So you can direct them to that. It's also a kind of starting something to give it a push. When you have created a blog, for example, and you want people to get known that you have written that blog, you
Yeah.
can use that mission to give them the first push to get me shared.
Right. Okay. Now that's the question question that I have in my own mind. You've written this most wonderful blog post. It's the best thing you've ever done. It's got the graphics in the place. The SEO is perfect. No problem. It's superb. And you publish it. And on the day you publish it, 2 people look at it.
Yeah.
Can Empire.Kred help you get more people to see it?
Yes. I sometimes use it when I write something on LinkedIn. You can use polls to create your own content.
Yeah.
And I hope that people like it or share it and give it a first push.
Yes. Okay. Now, if you're promoting a blog post or hoping to promote a blog post, would you tweet it out and get people to visit the tweet with the possibility of retweeting, or send them straight to it?
There's the thing what I mostly do for my business. What I do now is also part recruitment for the company or which I work for. When we have a vacancy, I use Twitter, for example, and sometimes I refer in my missions to that tweet, so it gets more spread.
Okay, I understand that. It's the reach that you're after, isn't it? And a tweet has greater reach than anything, because it's real time. I mean, Twitter is great for promoting.
Yeah, indeed.
And yeah, right. Coming on to the next question then, which is from Hans, and thank you for the question, Hans.
It's a guy I know from the Empire, but he has lived in the village I live in now, in Lopik.
Wow.
Is he living now in Canada?
It's a small world.
Yeah.
In your experience, what is the best way to make a mission stand out from other missions?
What we told earlier, the graphics for your that you use, the title you use, and the content in the mission has to be not too large and very and not demanding. Don't ever ask something to do. And you can stand out by the promote the mission, but then you have to pay for it. Yes,
indeed. But you, as you said, you use promoted missions to list your other missions so that they have a longer life.
Indeed.
Because Empire.Kred is getting so busy now with all the new people coming in, that you've got to take action to stop your missions disappearing. And that's a brilliant tip which you gave earlier, which I'm sure a lot of people will use. If there are any more questions, then Ruud and I are willing to take them. And we've got another question. Sally's playing a blinder today. Next question. There are some cultural differences of what is acceptable, but but it's so great that we can report inappropriate photos or content. How do we teach people not to be spammy, even though it's acceptable in their culture?
You can. What I think Sally means is that you can create a mission that links to inappropriate photos or content.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think, like other social media platforms, it will vanish itself because people dislike it and will not do those missions anymore, or will not invest in those people anymore. So they virtually die by itself. Their empire will shrink by itself.
Indeed. I mean, you can't ask people to visit places which they don't want to go to.
Yeah.
You've got to entice them to places that they would like to visit.
Indeed.
Which are interesting. I mean, it's a point to note here that when you do a mission, there are guidelines for the title and for the text and for not asking for anybody to do anything because it's white hat. And the other thing is that there are 3 ways. You notice when you do a mission, it will get graded, and the grades are A through to F. Yeah. If it's an A or B grade, then your mission will be promoted, which is good. Yeah. If you get below a B, then you've got problems. So how do you avoid problems?
I never have problems because mostly I do the same missions. And I tried by creating missions when becomes it an A or a B. And mostly it becomes a B when you use too much capitals in your title. Okay. So then you have to scrap some capitals and it becomes an A.
Yep. It does, because you've got to be careful about that. And the other thing as well is that, so missions are monitored and graded A through to F. A and B are good. C is okay, but it won't get promoted. And an F means that nobody will see it.
Yeah.
So that happens automatically because of the software actually sorting it. The other thing that you should be aware of is that there are people who actually moderate the missions. If you ever find a mission that you don't like the look of, then you should report it straight away.
Now maybe it's an idea for the future that you can give your meaning about a mission. Give it an A or give it a B. For example, we had the question about inappropriate photos or content, that you can give it an F, for example.
Right.
If it has a lot of Fs, then it will disappear.
Yes.
For example, yeah, just an idea.
Indeed. It's all possible. I mean, that's evolving all the time.
Yeah.
I just want to make a point there that you can't just do what you want to do on missions. There are guidelines and standards which you've got to meet, which of course we do because we've been here ever so long. 5 years is a long time. Right. Are there any more questions? Because we're really enjoying this and things are going well, and Fire Talk is working perfectly.
Yeah.
And it is, and the thing is, it's good to get together and just chat because it brings the game to life. And with the 4 shows that we're doing this weekend, we'll get a chance to meet 5 more people over the next 3 days. But today has been a real pleasure.
To enjoyed it. So, up to the next time.
This is the beginning.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we can touch on different topics next time, because I'm most interested in the group that you've started, which is still going and welcomes new players. And I think that's important, that you do welcome new players who've made their mark and play the game in the spirit that the game should be played, because that means that because there are elements to the game. You've got the stock market, which you said you don't sell, and I can understand why. I never sell either. But some people use it as a trading game, and that's fair. You've got the missions, which we've gone through the A to Z of, really, in the past 45, 50 minutes. And then you've got the groups. Now, the groups are underrated. They're text only, but that doesn't make them useless, does it?
Yeah, I never use groups.
All right.
The group I look in is the leaders group.
Yeah.
But more to learn about the development of the Empire.Kred.
Okay.
But what you said, it's maybe I have to do more about groups, but never did it. Yeah, in the early times, I was part of the monkey group, but that was it. It's a way to communicate with each other in a group and to create a group for yourself. That's
indeed. I know very successful groups, and well-spoken Bakan, who's with us today, runs a very successful group, and hopefully he will come on and talk to us at some point. Now, if anybody does want to come on camera, this is the last call. Okay, we're not going to do this again, but if you press the camera icon or type me in the text, we'll bring you on camera, and you can chat to the both of us. And there's no pressure at all. We're not going to put any names out of the hat. But it's been a wonderful session, and I thank everybody who's joined us. Okay. Now. Okay. Now. All right. Now, situation is. Thank you for the gift. The situation is, if you want to come on camera, just ask again. But you must be on the desktop or on the iPhone app to be able to get on camera. We tested the iPhone app yesterday with Nance, and that worked very well. In fact, I was most surprised. The picture quality was absolutely brilliant. So if you want to try again, we'll just wait a moment while you try to gain access.
All right.
If you don't manage it today, you can come along to tomorrow's show.
Okay.
And join in then. Okay, right.
That's a pity, Hans.
Okay, yeah, we'll do.
But I see him next week. Then he's back in Holland, I heard. So
Right.
coming back to his hometown in Holland, where I live. And that's
Brilliant.
also a person I learned on the Empire.
Yeah. Do you want to come on it? Mr. Well-spoken Bakan, do you want to come on air? There should be a camera bottom right. If there's not, I can invite you in.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hi there.
Hi there. Great to see you.
You guys are doing a great job, but I can't get the volume.
All right, you need earphones.
Oh, right. You can't hear us.
No, you can't hear us. I was going to type in the text. Pleasure. We enjoyed it thoroughly, and thank you to Fire Talk for providing this wonderful platform. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Well, I'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully, on the next show.
Fire again. So
yeah. Okay. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Okay. That works.
What do I have to do now? Do I have to